What do UK mums on Mumsnet think will be the outcome of the 2024 USA presidential election? Will it be Trump or Harris? How do we think it's going to go? WHO, do you think? I know there have been various threads about both candidates and policies, but thought it might be interesting to see people's opinions via a straight shooting poll. Go. I note the emphasis on the word think rather than want. I think Trump. Migration is the main issue. Narrow victory for Harris. Some local riots, but nothing like last time. I think Harris could edge it. My thinking being that many moderate Americans who don't always engage with politics and voting etc. will come out quietly to prevent another 4 years of Trump administration. It's clearly a long way from clear-cut though. I think and hope Harris. I find it bizarre anyone would vote for Trump ESP watching the campaigns. He is due lately, and she is intelligent, competent and for the people, not just herself. Trump. Dark days, but people love him. I hope Harris. She's got a lot of the female and youth vote. Until very recently, I would have thought Trump. He may yet. A repulsive thought, but the last couple of days mainstream American media have suggested that the vibe may be shifting. Fingers crossed. I think Harris, by a whisker. I hope so. God, if the orange one does get in, it will be the worst disaster for the world since World War II. I think Trump might get Pennsylvania, and if he does, Harris will lose. I hope I'm wrong. I'm pretty confident she'll win the popular vote, but that doesn't really help anything. I think Harris. But it's clear that Trump et al. Are preparing the ground for their "this was stolen" arguments. I've been feeling a bit more hopeful over the last couple of days. Or maybe it's just that The Guardian are cherry-picking their US election data to keep our spirits up. Okay, so I'm going to say Harris. Hope I'm right. I don't know any decent hard-working person voting for that vile woman. Harris, I hope. The latest data seem to be in her favor. Large turnout of women taking part in the early voting and polls, showing she has the lead in some key states. Not too optimistic though. I think Trump, though fairly confident Harris will win the popular vote, just not the Electoral College, but hope for Harris. But it's clear that Trump et al. Are preparing the ground for their "this was stolen" arguments. Let them prepare. It's their right to challenge any questionable result. The USA has been through this a few times, and the individual states, who manage elections and deal with any reported irregularities, are well prepared to handle both legitimate and false, unable to be substantiated complaints. If Harris doesn't win, Antifa and the left will be very cross. They burnt the place down in many areas last time. They also seem to have been the ones behind most mass shootings lately and have been sticking fingers up at priests over abortion. I wouldn't want to work at a school or anywhere Christian if they lose. I just wonder what the duck is wrong with the Democrats that Trump has a cat in hell's chance of winning. Yet he does. I hope, whatever the outcome, there is some introspection. That a convicted felon, a misogynist, a guy who doesn't seem to believe in democracy, could even come close to winning tomorrow means that there is a lot wrong with the Democrats that is making them unelectable for many. I hope they will look at what is going wrong. I really hope they will realize that the utter misogyny of identity politics is harming women. I hope. I think you have the question backwards. It should be what the duck is wrong with the Republicans to the extent they have bent over backwards to form a literal cult of 33% of the voting public. They could have had a look inwards and shut Trump down numerous times between 2016 and now, and at every turn, they chose not to. They will never get that 33% back to vote for a centrist Republican in their lifetimes. They caused this. The Dems could be running Jesus Christ against Trump, and a third of Americans would still choose Trump. Sorry, but no, I'm not wrong. If the Democrats put forward a viable alternative, that hadn't got lost in identity politics. I genuinely don't think Trump, who is on the ticket by the way, would have the traction he does. As I said, a little less blame and a little more introspection from the Democrats is very desirable at this point. I really don't think this is right. Putting aside those who won't vote for a woman or a black person because they are lost anyway, I can't think of one single person in politics who the Trumpists would go for. We're then talking about a very small number of people in a very small number of states who are up for grabs, about 50,000 to swing an election. She will win the popular vote. The MAGA cult is the child of the Tea Party movement, which was basically a racist reaction to the Obama years. Blaming this on the Democrats is such nonsense. Hope you are enjoying today's video from Mother's Narrative Network. You can subscribe for more daily uploads. Tell us in the comments who you think will win the election, Trump or Harris. So you don't ever think the opposition party should look at reasons that voters choose not to vote for them. Wow. Well, what do you suggest? In normal elections, with normal candidates, where people aren't blindly supporting, to the point of violence, a candidate who incited an insurrection was found guilty of 24 felony counts, an adjudicated sexual assaulter and tax fraud, sure. But this isn't that. There isn't anything the Democrats could do or say, or any candidate they could put up that would change that equation. You tell me the person or policy that you think could. And you do realize the last Republican president to have won the majority of the popular vote was George H.W. Bush, who left office nearly 30 years ago. You sound naive. Do you think the rabid MAGA supporters will ever find any Democratic candidate palatable? Clue, no they won't. But we'll see tomorrow if the saner former Trump voters, especially the women pissed off at the rollback on reproductive rights, will come out for Harris tomorrow. You are misunderstanding me. It's not about the Republican candidate. It's about why voters are choosing to vote for the alternative. It's not about changing the equation, it's about exploring why people, in large numbers, are choosing to vote for the alternative candidate. I mean, this guy might actually win. And you don't think the Democrats could have done any more to attract his voter base? Seriously. Trump. I think there are lots of quiet Trump voters who don't like him, but think he is going to be better for their finances, for the economy. No, I'm not naive. I'm sick to the teeth of so-called Democratic parties failing to listen to why people don't want to vote to them and preferring to blame the opposition for being rabid. I mean, good grief. Do you think nearly 50% of the population is brainwashed? Seriously. And I think there will be a lot of quiet red state Harris voters. They've really underestimated women's anger with the Roe situation. And actually, no, I don't blame the Republicans for their failure to listen to the concerns of the opposition. I blame them for supporting a serial criminal liar at every turn and using a weaponized right-wing media. I blame them for perverting the two-party system. Harris, with any luck, it'll be close and Trump will say it was fixed like last time. I just keep thinking even if Trump wins, he can only have 4 years max, and it'll go pretty quickly. It'll damage much of the world's perception of America though. Also, he's too old. Older than Biden was when he took the reins. And oh how he went on about that, the hypocrite. I really can't help you, can I? Yes, it's a democracy in the fact that there are two alternative ticket candidates. But when neither side is prepared to listen to the concerns of the other, or to consider why they are not having an easy win against a convicted felon who attempted an insurrection, because they can only assume the vote is bad, then there isn't much hope for democracy. It's not about winning hearts and minds, it's pure and simple tribalism, which I don't think is democratic. I have absolutely no idea. I've driven around several states over the last few weeks, and there are far fewer political flags, banners, etc. out on houses than in previous years. A lot of people are just jaded and fed up with politics, and will keep their opinion between them and the ballot box. It makes me anxious just thinking about Trump winning, so I will be happily checking the Harris box and staying blue throughout tomorrow. The bloody Dems are the only party who try to reach across the aisle. How? Give very specific examples. As a woman, I feel that they are so deeply embedded in identity politics, they'd gaffe about my concerns over losing sex-based rights. And I know about abortion and the failures of the Democrats to keep election promises in the past. I'm talking here about sports and spaces. I'm not American, so no, I'm not a Democrat. You're getting yourself in a temper that the Dems have done nothing to attract Trump voters, even though we have no results yet. Maybe take some big girl breaths and wait until all votes have been cast. So you don't have a clue what you are talking about. That makes a bit more sense. In the run-up to an election, most political parties want to know why people who might vote against them will do so. But not you, with your superior knowledge. That's a better look than blaming the opposition in the event of potentially avoidable, if you'd been interested in the opinions of the voters, lost election. But you do, blame Trump. Blame MAGA. It's always the fault of someone else. Weirdly, I think this time around Trump would be better. It's a dangerous world now, and I think it's just enough unpredictable to keep Putin and his cronies at bay. I just don't think Harris is strong enough, and the wheeling out of celebrities smacks of desperation. I've heard from the Obamas more than her. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Before you go, please like, comment, and subscribe for more daily uploads. Don't forget to click the notification bell.